Guys, when I say I'm so scared to do this video, I'm like legitimately terrified. So hey guys, welcome back to my channel, That's Alright, and it's October, which means it is the month of werewolves and zombies and ghosts and ghouls and stuff. So I have a story time for you guys about the time I lived in a haunted house. So before I even start, I just want to say that anything that I'm saying right now, it is not a lie. I have people who can vouch for me. This legitimately happened to me when I was living into this house, and my mom's seen it. My sisters have told me about this. I have another story that I would like to talk about my auntie's house, but if you guys want to hear that one, that will be in a separate story time. So without further ado, let's get on with the story. So the story starts is when me and my family moved from Georgia to Chicago, and we lived at my auntie's house for I believe 2 or 3 weeks, just so my mom can find a house in the suburbs. And my mom finds an apartment on the Navy base up in Glenview. And basically I am a Navy brat, which means that my dad was in the military, and my whole life he was in the military, even before I was born or even before I was even thought of. He was in the military, and we were really blessed to live on the military base, which was not a gated community, but it was a really safe community because every single person that lived in that house had a relative that was in the military. So one day my mom decides to take us to this new location to bring some stuff over from my auntie's house to the new house. And when I first say it was gorgeous, it was really pretty. It had 4 floors, I mean 2 floors. It had one house and another house, and we were on the 2nd floor. And I remember, if I'm looking at the apartment right now, the house was on the right top side, and I remember that you had to zigzag all the way up to the top, and it was fun when you were a little child because you could play with your cousins and have fun, like a maze and stuff around there. But I remember walking into the house, and it was big. Not to the house, but it was an apartment, but it was a huge apartment. It was really big. It was really spacious. When you first walk into the door and you turned left, there was nothing there. So either you went straight on where the bedrooms were, or you turned right where the living room and the kitchen would be. If you kept straight all the way, there was going to be a door that closed the living room area to the bedroom areas, so that if you had the door closed and people were in the front room, you could not hear the people that were in the front room. So I thought that was a really good touch of it. This is a time where I was so afraid of the dark. I did not like the dark for some reason, and I think this is the reason why it scared me, is from this story so much. And I just think it was the house that we were just living in. When I first walked into the house, I had a horrible feeling. I just didn't feel really well. They do say that spirits sometimes do talk to the most vulnerable person. I was the most vulnerable person because I was the youngest. My sisters were much older than me, and so I was really young. I just didn't like the house at first. I loved the interior. It was really spacious. I had my own room. My sisters had their own room. It was really good, but I just did not have a good feeling about this house. So as we got used to the apartment, I started to notice things that was not really okay with the apartment. As a kid, I used to see things fly by the sides of my eyes, and I used to see shadows just run by, and just see things run against, like, by the side, like when I was not looking. And when I turned, of course, there was nothing or no one there, and that just scared me, just to see little shadows run across my face and not see anything or anybody there. Like, even though I did not want to see anything, it would have been better to see something that I wasn't playing tricks on me. But little things started to happen like that. Like, I used to just play hide and seek with my cousins and then just see stuff run across my face or run on the side of my eyes, and I would think it was like my family members or my cousins, and I was used to just like chase them and stuff, and I didn't think of it. I just thought it was my imagination. But like I said before, I did not feel really good about this house. I was really uneven in this house. So I started sleeping in my own room. I was made to sleep in my own room. But I remember I used to sleep in my room, and if I was picturing the room, I had a bunk bed. I had a red bunk bed. And so I'm in the bed. Just picture I'm in the bed. And I'm in the bed, and you guys are my closet, okay? There's a door, and then there's a wall, and then this is my little area where I have my toys and my TV and stuff. So every single night I would go to sleep, and of course I used to hide under my covers when I go to sleep, because I used to think that the covers would save me from anything that would be coming after me, whether that was like a robber or a ghost or whatever coming after me. But I used to hide under my blankets, and I used to hear my closet doors screech open. My mom doesn't know about this because it scared me so much. It scared me to the point where like I was like scarred. I didn't know. I didn't think it was okay. So I remember that I went to sleep. I was like, I'm not dealing with that. Like, I was too afraid to look. I was too afraid to just investigate. But I remember it kept happening. And I remember that I woke up one day and looked at the door, and then it started screeching, like, opening and stuff. And I didn't know if it was my sisters playing a joke on me. I didn't know if it was my mom or my dad playing a joke on me, because my sisters love playing jokes on me now. So I don't know if they were jokers back then, but that really scared me, to see my closet door open by itself. It was opening slowly by itself, and that was just very, very uneasy to me, because one, I just moved into this house, like nothing is supposed to be going on with this house. Two, I should feel safe. Not a lot of kids my age have their own rooms. They share it with their siblings, so I should be very, very lucky that I have my own room. And it was just very, very uneasy. When I say this story scares the living crap out of me, it really does scare the crap out of me, because it was so horrifying. So my dad is in the military, like I said, and sometimes he goes away to base and he spends the night at base. I'm really not sure where he spends the night at when he's out all-nighter, but I know that I used to sleep with my mom, and that was the only time that I could sleep with my mom, is when my dad was away. And I was okay with that. I didn't care. Even though I was really scared to sleep in my own room, I got through that and I made it happen. But this night I decided to sleep with my mom. I believe it was a Sunday or a Saturday. I'm not sure, but I know it was a weekend because I was up all night and I kept on getting up early. So I decided to sleep with my mom. And on this particular night, I started waking up every single hour. I would wake up every single hour. I remember I woke up at 1 o'clock, and then my last time that I woke up when I saw the shadow was at 6, which is weird. So, like I said, I slept with my mom, and I kept on waking up every single hour. So whether that was just to take a breath, or if I had a nightmare, or if it was to use the bathroom or to get some water. And at night, when you're a kid, everything seems so big and so scary and stuff. And even today, like when I go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, I turn out every single light. But when you're a kid, everything is just so big and so just scary looking and stuff. So I remember just turning on the lights, every single light, going to the kitchen, getting my water, minding my business. And I remember, I don't know, I just remember things. I used to run back to my room whenever I would go back to my room and leave the kitchen and it was dark and I was by myself. I just remember feeling that someone was like running behind me or after me, and I would just run for my life. So I remember I just ran to my mom's room, and I drank my water, went back to bed, and the next time that I woke up was the most horrifying thing that I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm not even joking. Like myself, I'm interested in all of the the signs and stuff and the paranormal activities and stuff, but as I got older, I was not very comfortable with it, just because it's something that I'm not okay with. I'm scared of things I can't see. I'm scared of things that I can't see that can hurt me. So I'm not really okay with learning about that anymore. But when I used to be younger, I used to look up like stuff like meanings behind, like, what does this mean? And we all know that the devil's hour is 3 o'clock, and 1, 2, 3 I mean, and 666 is the devil's number. And I woke up at 6 o'clock, and this is when I believe when we saw this thing. So I just remembered that my mind kept telling me, wake up, turn around, wake up, turn around, and I am just sweating, and I'm laying on my side, and I wake up and I turn around, and when I say I thought I was dreaming, it was just so scary. I saw a man in the room with me and my mom tiptoeing. So, like, imagine like an investigator with a hat and a trench coat creeping, like those like old movies, whatever, tiptoeing across the room. And he looked at me, he turns, look at me, and I'm looking at him, and I'm just frozen with fear. Like, I don't know what I'm looking at. I don't know why I'm looking at this. But I remember the next thing I did, I was hitting my mom. I was tapping her. I was like, Mom, Mom, Mom. And I'm really glad that the thing didn't leave or disappear so that my mom would think that I was crazy or whatever, because my mom woke up like that. She said, what? She was like, turn. She's like, what? And I looked, I pointed, and I made sure she locked eyes with the same thing that I was looking at. And she looked at it and she saw it. And we both were just dumbfounded. We were just dumbfounded of what we were looking at. And I remember the next thing that he did was that ran out the room. He like ran out the room and he closed the door behind him, which was very nice of him. It was very nice of him. He ran out the door, and the next thing that me and my mom did was check the whole entire house to see if it was like my sister playing a joke on me or my dad home early or something like that. But we looked around the whole entire house and there was no one there except for me and my mom. So many things were going through my mind after that day, because I was like trying to make up excuses of what we saw. As a little kid, you think of scenarios in your mind, like, what if that, what if this? And in my mind, I'm like, what if, like, it was a person, like, outside, and we just saw their shadow? But then I was like, that can't be, because one, we're on the second floor, so unless the person is flying, then that can never be a way. And two, the person closed the door when it ran out when it ran out of the door. So unless you have really good magic powers to move and levitate yourself, then I don't know what it could be. I remember telling my friends on the bus that I saw this thing, and I remember they kept on giving me scenarios as well, the same scenarios, and I remember I just kept on getting mad because I wanted to believe myself that I saw this thing, but I did not want to believe myself saying that I'm living in the house where I saw this thing. So the next experience was not happened to me, it happened to my sister. I don't know how she felt or whatever, but one thing that she told me that happened to her was that I had these snow boots. They were black little kids' snow boots, and one day her door was open that she was drawing. I get my drawing skills from my sister. She taught me so much how to draw and stuff. She was drawing and she saw my boots walk into the wall, casually walk into the wall. And it was very weird because one, no person was attached to those boots, and they walked into the wall. And it was weird that she told me, because I still had those boots when we moved into this apartment, and it was strange to know that my boots walked into the wall. For me, I'm very spiritual. I believe in both God and the devil, but I know who I serve and I know who I believe and I praise to. But I do believe that I am attached to the spirit world, which sounds really, really stupid, but I do have spiritual dreams. I do have dreams that do sometimes come true. I do sometimes have dreams that feel just like deja vu sometimes. So I feel like that I'm very spiritual, that I'm very connected to the afterlife, if I'm making any sense. That if I brought enough power of, like, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I think that if I would practice more in that technique, I would totally be down with seeing things. That is it of this story time. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and you can show me your love by subscribing and commenting below. Like I said, I have more ghost story for the month of October, and if you guys want to see them, just comment below or follow me on my social medias and tell me there. So all my social medias are in the description box below and on the next slide. So see you guys soon.